Housing prices are through the roof. Biden has a plan to bring them down, but will it work? Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Matt Gnezda, filling in today for Chris Chappell. I'm going to be real with you. The U.S. is not seeing a lot of good economic news these days. Although I probably didn't have to tell that to those of you watching this through the cracked screen of your iPhone 4, since you haven't been able to afford a new phone for the past 11 years. Prices for everything are up. The stock market is rockier than Sylvester Stallone's IMDb credits. And there are fears of a recession. But building a bunker for economic Armageddon might be a little tough right now, because rent and home prices are soaring. Which is good news if you already invested in real estate, and really bad news if you want to buy a house now. Data from real estate brokerage Redfin shows the median home price is up 40% since the pandemic started in 2020. Remember when we all wanted 2020 to end? Well, folks, welcome to 2022. It's too expensive to do anything, but at least we're allowed to leave our houses, am I right? On the bright side, skyrocketing housing prices mean many of you don't have to worry about dying in your own home, since you'll never be able to afford one. But while the real estate markets look bad for buyers, they look even worse for renters. The median rental price in the biggest metro areas have gone up more than 16% since this time last year, which is why I'm starting to think about moving into a dumpster. I hear they're the new shabby chic version of tiny houses these days, just way tinier and a lot less chic. Now, these price hikes are bad, but they're especially bad because how many of you got a 16% raise over the last year? So why are prices going up? Well, there's lots of reasons. I'll explain more after the break. Welcome back. Why are home prices and rental prices in the U.S. skyrocketing? Supply is the main issue. There are not enough houses for people who want to buy them. Part of that has to do with the supply chain. It's a lot more expensive to build a house these days since material prices are way up. Labor shortages are affecting construction too. And we can't just hire the Amish to build houses for us, since for some reason none of them have Venmo. Some argue that NIMBYism also makes it hard to build houses, especially high-density housing. NIMBY homeowners don't want new housing in their backyard, so to speak, especially low-income housing. They're afraid it will make their own home's value go down, so they fight for zoning laws that would protect their neighborhood from development. This, in turn, makes it harder to build new homes. So, for multiple reasons, supply is down and has been going down for a while. While supply is the main problem, the other side of the coin is demand. It turns out that when people started working from home, they wanted bigger, nicer homes to work from. Who would have guessed that it would suck to work from the living room of your tiny apartment when the kids aren't in school? So, the demand for homes shot up during the pandemic. But first-time home buyers are getting priced out. With rising prices, lagging wages, and bidding wars, a lot of people simply can't afford to make a down payment on a house, which keeps people in the rental market, which raises the demand for rentals, which makes rental prices go up. It's all part of the circle of serfdom, which is a song from the Disney spin-off movie, The Lion Peasant. For some reason, it was much less popular. So, the housing prices are just about supply and demand, really. Low supply, high demand, economics 101, right? Well, not exactly. There's another problem that's much harder to solve. I'll explain after the break. Welcome back. It's getting harder and harder for the average American to afford a home. It's one thing when you're in a bidding war with your neighbor over a house you want to buy. It's another when you're in a bidding war with a big institutional investor. Unlike other wannabe homeowners, investors usually have a lot of cash. Just over 3/4 of investor home purchases were paid for with all cash last quarter. No wonder we had a coin shortage during the pandemic. I always wondered what caused that. Now, this sounds bad, but imagine you're the one trying to sell your house. Do you want to wait for months while a family jumps through hoops to get a mortgage, which might fall through? Or do you want to sell quickly to a reliable big company that's offering cash now? I mean, who doesn't want to do snow angels and a mound of money? Last quarter, a whopping 18% of homes were bought by institutional investors. That's nearly 1 out of every 5 homes, a record high. I know that some consider corporations people, but I didn't know there were so many of these corporate people. And they all needed summer homes in places like Tulsa, Oklahoma. Real estate investors can be large corporations, local companies, or wealthy individuals, and they generally don't live in the properties they're buying. Some look to flip homes to new buyers, while others rent them out. Now, sure, a lot of ordinary Americans also buy second and third houses as investments. It's one way Americans can build wealth without investing in the stock market, or crypto, or your cousin's failed restaurant idea. Don't say I didn't warn you, Brad. But here we're talking about large financial institutions like pension funds that have a lot more money and are buying a lot of houses. A lot of people blame inflated housing prices on these guys. And, well, it's hard to disagree. So, what can be done to help everyday Americans get homes? Well, the Biden administration has a plan.
The Biden administration has released a plan to ease the burden of housing costs for Americans amid high inflation.
That's right. It aims to close the housing supply gap within the next 5 years.
Wow, 5 years, just in time for Trump to take credit for it. I mean, whoever is president next. The supply gap refers to a White House estimate that there's 1.5 million fewer houses than home buyers. And their plan includes increasing housing supply. They want to make different types of homes more affordable to build. For example, manufactured and modular homes. Also accessory dwellings, so the rich can get cheap loans to build a guest house. Now that's putting our tax dollars to work. Some say Biden's plan falls short of its goals because it only deals with supply. It doesn't do enough to curb demand, specifically demand from certain types of investors, like huge investment firms. Here's a candid photo of investment firms waiting to snatch these new homes off the market the second they become available. Some have suggested we should tax these big institutional investors, or at least eliminate tax breaks for landlords. This, they say, will help even the playing field with individuals. If removing landlord tax breaks doesn't stabilize housing prices enough, we could always copy the anti-speculation taxes and the other measures other countries use to discourage investors from unintentionally destabilizing their housing markets. While the White House recognizes the problem, their plan doesn't actually take any action to slow down these investors. It talks about what the Federal Housing Administration has done to sell more foreclosed houses to individuals and organizations that help first-time buyers. And it says HUD will encourage states to use grant funding for the same purpose. And there's more.
Under the plan, the administration will expand access to tax credits and loans and provide new financing options to Americans. The president has also set a goal to finish the most construction on new homes this year, which, if completed, would be more than any other year since 2006.
Expand access to tax credits and loans. Provide new financing options. Bring back the housing boom of 2006. Finally, a way to fix this problem quickly by recreating the conditions that led to the 2008 crash. I'm sure it'll be different this time, though. So what do you think? What can be done to help average American families afford homes? Let us know in the comments below. And this show wouldn't be possible without support from viewers. If you aren't already a supporter, head on over to americauncovered.locals.com or patreon.com/AmericaUncovered. Once again, I'm Matt Gnezda. Chris will be back tomorrow. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.